You're listening to the CJ Moneyway Show with my man CJ Moneyway. Tune in every other Friday to one of the hottest podcasts in the Midwest, where you can hear exciting episodes and up and coming artists like myself, even inspiring authors, entrepreneurs, and the everyday man and woman, right here on the CJ Moneyway Show.
Let's get it.
What's up? This your boy CJ Moneyway. Welcome to the Moneyway Show. Hey, I got a special guest, my adopted cousin, I would say, Rosetta Cox. You know, since we share the same auntie, your
Absolutely.
biological auntie, my adopted auntie, Carol Sims. Shout out to Carol. How's she
Yes,
doing anyway?
she's doing amazing. We just spent the weekend together. Actually, the last couple of weekends, I've been so busy with the center and getting things together that I hadn't had any time for her. And so
Mhm.
she's like my big baby. She called and I come running. And
Oh
she'll
yeah,
say, yeah, she sent me a copy of her schedule. So I knew that meant make time. And so last couple of weekends, we've been hanging out.
yeah. I see y'all went to breakfast and
Yes.
everything. It looked good, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's spoiled. She's spoiled. She's
Oh
very
yeah,
spoiled.
and she loves you, and
And
she
I love
loves
her. Love
some
her.
Rosetta.
Yes.
So on that subject, you know, talking about Carol, your auntie, what role, what pivotal role did she play in your life growing up?
Oh my goodness. You're gonna go there, Corey. Now you're gonna get me all emotional. Lash is gonna come off this live recording. Um, man, I can say a million things, but I'll tell you this. She played a very instrumental role coming up.
Hmm.
Even as a young woman, I remember looking at her and admiring her, the way she would dress. She was so classy, so sophisticated. And I just remember seeing her. She would always wear heels, like these high heels. And
Hmm.
we would go to church and I would see her walk, in this collection and offering time and just kind of walk around. And she would walk, and I would be like, I cannot wait till I can wear heels because she was so nice. And so she was like a role model coming up,
Hmm.
besides my mom and my grandmother. She was hands on with, the raising of me and my sisters. And so there were some dark days where, Kara would always step in to help me make sure me and my grandmother and my siblings were good.
Hmm.
She would make sure, we had food. I remember one time in particular, I wanted to try out for the pom pom squad. And I came home, I told my grandmother, I was like, I got to buy these shoes. I have to have this. I have to have that. And she said, where was that? I don't have the money. She said, but we'll talk to Moochie. Carol nickname is Moochie.
Yeah, yeah.
She said, I'll talk to Moochie and see. And I'll never forget. She called. She said, how much is it? I said, let me see. Let me find out. And I told her. And I was able to perform that year for our homecoming in my Nike shoes and my pom pom squad outfit that Carol had gotten for me. And so when I say she played a pivotal role, that's just who she was. Whenever I had a need and my grandmother couldn't meet it because she was a senior citizen,
Hmm.
and the income that she lived off of, it wasn't a lot for
Hmm.
both of us and my siblings and my mom. So she would step in and
Okay.
she would just make sure we were good. And so now she tells me, "You don't owe me anything, Rosette." I'm like, I know, but I love making sure she's good because without her, I wouldn't be half the woman that I am today.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, like I say, I know Carol from riding with her to work a lot, and she loved her some Rosie. You know,
Yeah,
and so
she is my heart. I love her. She plays that parent role because I don't have my parents,
mhm.
grandmother. Carol fills that void for all of them, all three of them.
So with that, um, like I know you're an entrepreneur, and I believe when I first started talking to Carol, when I first met Carol, you were working, you were doing something like at the
Pawn
you were a
shop.
manager, pawn shop,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
things
a
of that
pawn
nature,
broker.
yeah,
A
pawn.
lot of people don't know that.
Uh huh.
I was a licensed pawn broker in Chicago.
Uh huh.
Actually, I got into the pawn industry because of Carol. When I was like 19 years old, we walked into a pawn shop looking for a computer,
Hmm.
and the guy like kind of basically hired me on the spot. So, fast forward 20 plus years in the business, climbed the corporate ladder, employee, lead, assistant, second assistant, and my goal was to eventually be a store manager. And so I became a store manager. At that time, it was a male dominant industry. There was not a lot of women, and then especially Black women of color. So I found my way up to the top, and I made it there. And it was interesting. A lot of guys would come in and say, "Hey, let me speak to your manager," and I'm like, "I'm the manager." No, the dude. Let me speak to the dude. I'm like, "Well, what do you have?" I got some speakers. What size? 12s. Okay, I need 15s. I got a watt. How many amps is your watt? How many watts is your amp? Is your amp? Oh, 200. Now I need 2,000 or more. Oh, let me speak to the guy. And so I made a game out of it. I would call my assistant over. His name was Russell. Russell, they want to talk to you. You know, man, what can you do? He was like, dude, you just got to talk to the manager.
Yeah.
So they would freak out seeing me hook up car audio, sounds, test a circular saw or drill, anything you name. I knew a lot about it because that's what pawnbrokers did. We had to know a little bit about everything. So it was awkward seeing a girl hook up audio with her nails on and lashes.
But you did it, huh?
I did it, and it really helped me. Working in that industry actually helped me in the business with what I'm doing now.
That's
Actually,
what that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, like in life, as we go
yeah,
through life in different forms of things, and there's certain places that you go and you learn things, along the way
yeah,
that's gonna help you to grow
yes,
into some things that you may not have seen, what I'm saying, prior, but it was the learning experience that you got from here and there that takes you to different places. So with that being said, like what was it as far as being a store manager, a lead? You went through all the steps to get you to forming your own company now. You have a daycare center, right? Can you tell us
yes.
a little bit about that?
Yes, I am. I co-own a home learning center called MommaBear Learning Center,
Hmm.
and we are focused on kindergarten readiness, and we cater to. I have my credentials in early childhood, so
Okay.
all of our kids that we cater are from 0 to 5 years old.
So, like early childhood, you say you got an education in that. What is the what was your main point or the thing that drew you to want to actually be involved with kids at an early age as far as their development?
Wow. If I could be honest with you, it goes back. It stems from my childhood.
Hmm.
My grandmother raised me, Carol's mother. We were always in church. She would sometimes host and have vacation Bible school in our yard in the projects, and she would have me teach the class as a little girl. And so I was always the oldest sibling, oldest grandchild, and so I was always pushed. You're the leader, you're the oldest, and so it became a natural thing for me, not knowing that I was being molded into operating in my gift.
Hmm.
So it stemmed from my childhood, and I always just wanted to learn and teach. And I remember, growing up and life happening, started making good money at the pawn shop. My goal was always to be an educator.
Hmm.
That was always my passion. And so life happened, kids, bills, that required a nice financial it requires some financial stability. So it was like, you know what? I'm gonna work this job, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, it would be amazing for me to one day be able to operate in my gift. And with all the ups and downs in my life, I just never thought that I would be here. And I just remember one day, like, I always tell my children they can do whatever they want to do, never give up. And I'm like, you can't do it if you can't do that. You have to, stick to your guns. And so here I am now, fast forward, operating finally in my gift of teaching. Um, and I love kids. People don't know this, but disclaimer, I always wanted a bunch of kids.
Mm.
It never happened, but I always kept the house full of kids in my home. And so now that my children, I'm an empty nester. Now I have everyone else's children.
That's a beautiful thing because a lot of people, don't. want to take time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I know me. I just say me myself. I wouldn't have the patience, to do something of
It
that
does
magnitude.
require it. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I wouldn't have the patience.
Yeah.
Hey, they can come over and come over to the house. Hey, but long as you leaving with your mama and your daddy when they leave, hey, we all good.
Yes, yes, I agree. It is definitely a gift. A lot of times people compliment me and they tell me things, and it's like I can't really understand what they're saying, because when I'm doing what I love and I'm operating, I'm not thinking about anything. All I know is that this child needs to retain what I'm teaching them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very rewarding. And so yeah, I'm learning how to take compliments. Because like I say, it's not work for me. It's not a race. It's just I have a purpose. I have a gift, and teaching is one of them. Yeah.
you know, like you say, I remember my father, he told me a long time ago, he say, man, uh, get you a career, go to school and get an education so you can have a career and not just a job. Because, as you're saying right now, and that's what made me think about it. Because when you got a job, you got to go there,
You have
you
to.
know. But when you have a career, you're getting up excited to go to work because
Yes.
this is something that you're passionate about doing.
Yes.
And so, like listening to you, it's a passion, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it
And
is.
so it's not, like you say, I don't see it like that, because this is something that I desire to
Yes.
do, or
Yes.
whatnot. And so, like, I was talking to somebody last week, and one thing that I'm hearing you say, and as we talked about last week, is that a lot of times you say you're working, you're in your purpose. You know what I'm saying? You're fulfilling your purpose, your God given talents that God gave you. You know what I'm saying? Now being displayed. And so, like, one thing that we were talking about last week was that a lot of times your purpose stay the same. You know what I'm saying? So, like a preacher or a pastor and people of that nature, your purpose stays the same, but assignments change. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, you would bring that up, wouldn't you? And
Assignments change.
yeah, it's
But
ironic that you say that, and I'm laughing because a lot of people don't know this, and they'll know now after the podcast. But I actually have my credentials in ministry.
mm,
I obtained it 2 years ago, and the reason I kind of not said too much about it is because I know I'm still operating in that. Teaching is just my gift, whether I'm teaching children or whatever my other assignment is. I know that's a connection. So I just been actually training myself to be obedient. So whatever God tells me to do, so let me ask him, okay, God, what do you mean? Are you sure? Like, why me?
mm-hmm,
He's like, just be obedient. And every time I've been obedient with what he's told me to do, because in the past there's been times I wasn't,
mm-hmm,
and I had to start all over again. Like, okay, God, I get it. Okay,
yeah,
I'm not gonna do it Rosetta's way no more. I'm gonna do it your way. And
yeah,
so, obtaining my credentials in ministry, we look at what is ministry. It's doing God's business and doing what he's gifted you to do. And so, I would say, one of my ministries is are my kids. I do minister to women that are divorced,
mm-hmm,
young teenage girls who are going through abstinence and feeling rejection, because I went through that. And so my ministry is different assignments that God puts me on. So some things I share with people, some I don't. It's just between
mm-hmm.
me and God. But when it's time for me to really expand and keep being obedient, then that's what I would do.
Yeah, I understand that too. Said to the, because a lot of times when you put things out there, people try to scrutinize.
Yeah. Or
What it,
label.
yeah, and like I was talking to somebody the other day, and actually, when you start putting certain things out,
Mhm.
and even those close to you,
Yes.
whether it's a wife, a husband, a
Yes.
mother, father, brother, sister,
Yes.
and you start putting things out there, and if they don't see it, and I get to that in a minute, because I think we spoke about this once before, and if they don't see it, it can be discouraging. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you are hitting some stuff. Corey.
Hey, their comments, you know what I'm saying, or remarks can be
Wow.
discouraging. And so when it becomes discouraging, the path that God has you on
Wow.
can take you off that path because you're saying to yourself, and maybe this is just me, that if I can't convince those who love me and those that I love, how can I convince somebody else?
Come on now. That's true. I mean, I've actually went through that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being excited, and at that time I was in a relationship, and I remember just being so excited. And I came home and I told him, and first, there was mocking, and labeling, oh, Reverend Rosetta, and it was very discouraging because he made fun, but that was okay, and that's what I be wanting to let my young single women know. When God has someone for you, because they're going to be in line with your purpose, right? They're going to be aligned with what it is that you're going to do. And then you guys are coming together for a purpose also, whatever that looks like. So when that happened, when he did that, it was a gut wrench feeling because I'm like, he's not my husband. He's good to me. I don't have to worry about nothing. He's an amazing man. You know how kids be want a toy, you like, no, give it here. I got you a new toy for Christmas. You like, no. That's how it was. It's like, God, no, this is a good one. He was like, nope. And so I knew then there was no way I can actually operate in my full gift, my full potential when that happened. And I had to be okay with that.
Yeah. I was just telling a young lady this the other day. We was talking, and I listened to TD Jakes one time, right? And he was talking about how, say, like, I got a woman, and I was this way with her, but then when I got with another woman, those gifts that you're talking about, and now it's a change. And so now that woman's sitting back, or that man sitting back, like, well, what was that woman at, or what was that man at when I had him? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and
That is very true.
he say that you didn't have what it took to dig out of them what was in them. And so that person that came along had what it took to, because he was talking about the lady at the well, had what it took to get that up out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so now they're operating in the purpose that they should have been operating in.
Wow.
Because you can get beat up so much in-house.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That it becomes discouraging, and it's like a battle, like the Bible tells us too. It tells us that we don't fight against flesh and blood,
but the principalities.
But it's but we go through a like you say with the toy, we go through a tug of war with each other. You see what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Not in a marriage and a relationship, but but we do. And and so I bring that to bring to this point. I think we haven't really talked, but I think we mentioned it on Facebook or something when I first asked you to come on the show, and you say, "Oh, that's my favorite story in the Bible." I said, "Yeah, that's my favorite one too." And so that's go there because everything that we've been talking about has actually aligned to this.